Hey, this is your buddy Reverend Bill Ryan, and earlier on today I put out a about a minute video saying that I was going to concentrate on this week talking about witchcraft and black magic. That's what I'm not going to be talking about the election, which I gotta get involved in the election. Although I might be able to do both videos, the election and continuing this on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll see what happens with that. I think it's important I qualify what this series is and what it is not. Uh, I'm not out to do a hit piece. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to give any hints to any witches. I'm sure there are witches listening to this that are probably wondering where I'm going to go with this. Essentially, I'm not going to be telling you anything that you could not find on your own if you had um, the I don't know the motivation to go talk to your reverends or ministers, or if you went on the internet or talk to the people in the know. There's a lot of myths. We're gonna talk about that, but essentially, I'm just going to give you an overview. And the reason I'm doing this is about 3 years ago, I was fat, dumb, and happy, and I was targeted by a witch attack, and I did not know what was going on. Um, it was a very scary time for me. And I was very fortunate because I've always had a lot of friends from Africa. And instead of going to a psychiatrist or to a doctor or to tell the wrong people, I just happened to mention this to some African friends of mine, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. And they're like, no, 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 it's not you. You do not need hospitalization. You don't need medication. You're under an attack by witches. They're very familiar with witches. If you know anybody from Africa, especially from countries like Nigeria or Ghana, they're really big into that. Uganda, I think, is pretty big on that too. But there's a lot of witches. They actually know witches in their towns. So when I talked to them, they knew what the issue was, and they were to get me the correct help that I needed. And there's no doubt in my mind, by the way, especially after I've gone through this now for quite a long time, and I'm still under attack, but I'm now qualified to handle it. And I now understand it. That's kind of why I'm sharing this, because I'm sure the hospitals and asylums are full of people that are actually under witch attack and are very sane. They just didn't know what was going on, and they were fortunate enough to have African friends, Jamaican friends too, which I have, that understand this. And they were able to help me get through it, thank God. Um, but anyway, that's kind of why I'm doing this. If I could get somebody to, pay attention, that maybe sometimes that might happen to you, you might be able to go to someone, maybe me, and just explain to me what's going on. Otherwise, you might get fully medicated and sent to a hospital, and no one will hear from you again. And that's kind of what these witches want. By the way, they want to harm you. So getting you locked away is probably a very attractive concept for them. So anyway, that's my motivation here. That's pretty much what I'm looking to do. Just to give an overview. Again, I'm not targeting anyone, so any which is listening to this, you can breathe easily. This is just stuff that really but public knowledge. Anybody from Africa would be able to tell you this off the top of their head. But I was Irish. We knew how to drink whiskey and get in a barroom fight. We knew nothing about black magic. I now, of course, years later, I wouldn't call myself an expert at all, but I kind of compare it to kung fu. So I did kung fu for 15 years. That was 20 years ago. Don't ask me to do anything now. I'd rip my legs apart with tendons and muscles. But the point I'm trying to get to is you can study kung fu for 70 years, no problem. So someone did it for 15 years as a novice. And black magic, kind of the same thing. I mean, compared to the average guy in the street, yes, I suppose I could be an expert. But if you talk to some of these guys, the villages of Nigeria, they're way more knowledgeable than I would ever be. So anyway, getting on to that. First thing I want to say, there's no format to this per se. I want to try to keep it down to about half an hour, just for boredom's sake. So I'm going to try not to go too long. The first thing I'm going to say is, again, these are going to be just random things. Staying hidden for a witch or a wizard. They're called, a female is a witch and a man is a wizard. Nothing to do with Harry Potter. These are evil Satanists. There's nothing good about them at all. They're soulless, they're mean, and they're relentless. Staying hidden is key. So if you find the 60-year-old girl that dresses up in goth and goes, "Oh, I'm a witch," no. She might think she's a witch. She may want to make you think she's a witch. No self-respecting witch would ever admit it. As a matter of fact, in some of these villages in Africa, if they find a witch, she's run out of the village and she's got to live in the forest by herself and with all the children. She's not allowed to come back. So the last thing a real witch is going to do is tell you she's a witch. So forget about it. If someone says they're a witch, they're not a witch. Witches always offer to help. They do not help. They never help. People in these tribes, drinking my Powerade here. So people that go to these witches in these villages in Africa, they want a son, they want this, they want that, they want children. They usually leave with the assurance that they're going to be okay. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of times these witches and wizards put hidden curses on them, and they leave worse off than when they got there. Again, these people are evil. There's no good in them, and they have no soul. So I don't even care if you find out it's your brother or your sister or your parents. The idea of like going to them and saying, well, I'm your son or I'm your brother. It doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't. A lot of times Satan will lock their soul into going to get a little bit complicated here, into a cage, and they cannot reach it. They're just a shell. You cannot appeal to these people's loyalty or love. It's a waste of time. And they are very relentless. There was actually a story that I read from somebody. When a child is born in Africa, a lot of times there are women that are designated to go and welcome the child, and they go in and they sing, they dance, and they hold the baby and they love it. And there's a ceremonial first bath where they take the baby away, and they're supposed to give it a first bath and kiss it and love it and sing to it. And a lot of these women are actually witches. And you can actually get a witch to give your baby away to Satan, even while it's in the womb. And it's a binding contract. So these women, a lot of times, they do something with the baby's hair and their hair, something to do with getting it and putting it in their palm. Again, I'm not really into witchcraft, but I know the theories. And when they do that, they bind the baby to Satan. Now, that baby is Satan's up until 18. I think it's 18, might be 16. And then, of course, it's got to make that decision for itself. But Satan's been in that baby for, I don't know, whatever, 16, 18 years. So the chances of that baby putting its foot down and saying no are probably slim to none, because it's all they know. And they're also growing very powerful in the evil art. So it's problematic, to say the least. Another thing people think is that witches can't stand crucifixes, can't go to church, can't read the Bible. That's completely wrong. As a matter of fact, quite the contrary. Witches like to go to keep an eye on what's going on in local churches. So when you go to church on Sunday, that person standing next to you singing hymns, smiling and hugging you. And even in some situations, the minister or priest is actually one of them as well. There's been bishops that have been discovered to be wizards. So again, don't take it for granted. They're not like that old vampire thing. You hold up the crucifix and they go, ah! No, they will sing praises to Jesus. A lot of times, and I don't quite understand this, but they will pray to Satan in the morning and they go to church and praise Jesus in the afternoon. I don't know how they reconcile that one. That I'm still looking at, but I do know it's true because I actually know people that are wizards and witches, and they do go to church every Sunday religiously. Don't we know that works? And I don't want to ask them because they won't tell the truth anyway, which is seldom tell you the truth. You're better off just to ignore anything they tell you because they're just going to confuse you. Let's see. never, ever, ever decide that if someone's possessed or a witch, that you're going to exorcise them. I have seen exorcisms. I've seen possessions. It is not for everyone. There's actually a story in the Bible which is really good. I think it's in Acts. I'm not sure which chapter and verse it is, but in it, basically, a man sees a man who's possessed, and he grabs like a crucifix or something and says, by the power of St. Paul and Jesus, I command evil spirits to leave. And I'm paraphrasing. The possessed man said, "Oh, I know St. Paul and I know Jesus, and you ain't them." And he went on, and I don't think he killed the man, but it probably made him wish he was dead. And the reason is, if you don't know what you're doing, stay away. I'm at a point now where I would consider doing it only because of what I've been through, what I've seen. It's taken me 3 years of researching this stuff. And even I would be hesitant to do something like that unless I thought it was absolutely positively necessary. Let's see. Now, the thing is, and I think I might have touched on this earlier, is that they do things to you to make you think you are going crazy. A lot of times, I don't want to get into too much of my experiences because they're kind of personal, what they did against me. And again, this is not to talk too much about myself or about any particular witch in particular. It's just kind of a general overview. But one thing I did hear was, like, I was walking around the house and I heard like a woman singing to me, but there was no source. You couldn't track it down to a radio or a TV. It was all over the place. And I heard it. I got down and I said some prayers, and it stopped after a while. But those are the kind of things. You go around telling a doctor you hear people singing in the house. They probably would start giving you some meds, which is not going to help. The only thing that's going to help is Jesus Christ and belief in Him and prayer. That's what helps. What else we have here? There was another time too where they played the song "Taki Taki" nonstop in the house for days on end, again with no source. Luckily, I liked the song, so half the time I was dancing to it. They just "Taki Taki" all day, every day, no escaping it. Like I said, I like the song. Really, I think I was kind of wondering what they were trying to do with that, because if they were thinking they were going to break me by playing "Taki Taki," I would like to think I'm a little harder than that. Don't maybe want Selena Gomez more. Let's see. They are masters of illusions. You might see things that are not there. You might see a beautiful girl, walk over to talk to her, and find out it's a coat rack. They do things like that all the time. They are very good at illusions. So again, if you see something like that, don't automatically assume it's you. It could very well that you're under attack by a witch. I'm probably, I'm only halfway through my list, but I'm probably taking up too much time. I think I'm going to leave it there. So what I'll do is, at the bottom is, all my channels and also my email account. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow, finishing this off. And these are only going to be good for both of us if I'm answering your questions. So, like I said, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and send me any questions if you want me to answer anything specifically. I will do my best. Again, I am not an exorcist. I am not, an expert by any stretch. I'm a guy that's been attacked by witches for about 3 years, and I'm still under attack. And I've managed to more or less control the environment. And I just thought that, me being an Irish guy who had no idea what was going on, there's probably other people out there that might be attacked or might be attacked in the future. And this might actually save them from a trip to the asylum because they might realize, maybe it's not me. So with that said, hey, let's all go out there and vote. Republican. No, seriously, go and vote. But, Republican would not be a bad idea. And I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time. If you like this, that's great. If not, then thank you for your time anyway. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.